Hi everybody, how you going? I just thought I'd come back and show you the other type of scroll that I make, and this one is actually going to be a large one. The small ones, which I did, this one here, and where is the other one? And these two. This is the one I did online, I think, and then I have a couple of others that I have done. So I'm going to do a large one, and it's based on, I'm just about to release a page of a mandala I made, and which is this one here. It releases in a couple of days, or it may have released already. And this gold Buddha, which you'll see reflecting probably, which is going to be annoying, and I apologize for that, but because I've got the light on, it's just going to reflect all of those things, I think, all the gold washi tape and all of the beautiful things that I use to create it. All right, so the first thing, this is an A4 piece of paper. That would be my start, yeah. And what I've done is I've changed it a little bit, and I've cut out certain parts and components of it. I've kept those pieces though, just in case I want to utilize them anywhere in the piece. You never know, especially these bits here, maybe. So I'll just put those to the side. So I'm contemplating even cutting out that on this particular one, or maybe just going in, but I won't do that right now. I'll just get down to the basics of it, and I have a bit of a think about that one, because it's on this one in particular, it's missing a lot of the plate when I pulled this piece of paper. So okay, so obviously this is a no matter what paper you use, whether you're using rice paper, this translucent paper, which is the greaseproof paper that I back mine with, or any other paper that you found, it's kind of the same principle. So this roll is, let's see, nearly 12 inches long, which is 30 centimeters. So it's 30 centimeters, 12 inches, nearly 12 inches wide, and in length I have 100 centimeters, which is 39.5 inches. So that's what I'm doing now. That does also depend on what your structural piece is going to be down the bottom. On these big ones I have done the bamboo, but I do have a bit of tubing from a Christmas, the Christmas roll, a really nice solid Christmas roll, and it is inside. So I will bring that out, but I'm feeling like that may take a little bit more, so I haven't cut this at this point. So I will show you the roll that I've got and how I'm going to work that into it. And I'm also picked up just some pieces of jelly plate that I've pulled before, similar colorings, and of course my one of my printables, which goes fabulously with this. I'm going to do kind of the same process as I did before, except I'm using this one here, and obviously along the way there probably will be a few other bits and pieces, because there always is when I change things up. Alright, so I'm going to go and get the scroll, and I will be back. Okay, now here we are. So I've got the tube, and the tube is from my Christmas wrappings. And it's quite a solid one, this one. A lot of them are quite thin, but this one's actually quite solid. And it's 70 centimeters. So 35 centimeters is the mark that we're going to add. Oops. If I dangle that up, can you see that? Yeah, I'll just dangle that up there. So there's a wooden board underneath me. I'm just going to cut that down. Could mark it all the way around if you wanted to, if you didn't think you were, you know. There we go. Take that little piece away. Yes, you could have marked it all the way around, that's for sure, and made it nice and neat. But I am going to cover them. I am going to cover these, so it's not really that, you know, that important. No one is going to notice it. So in measuring this, obviously the same principle as the small one, the actual paper is going to roll around and probably come, you can have it either double, you can double it over like I did on the little ones, or you could just have it singly and then washi tape it or glue it or whatever we're going to do on here, which I'm not too sure because I haven't made one with one of these yet. I just got my Christmas wrapping all done. So that is going to be awesome. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do a good inch, which we like 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters on each end, and then I'm going to come over because I just like that extra bit for strength. So that's going to come to there. I'm just going to mark that. So if that goes over there like so, you are going to see, so you're just going to remember that you are going to see a bit of the bottom of it, but obviously the main central area of the piece of artwork is not going to be seen down there. So that is, where is my tape measure? Hanging up where it should be. So let me see. That is, with the extra bit, 21 centimeters, which is 8 inches, which I absolutely adore this IKEA. Gotta love this IKEA paper. I'll put it there, paper measure ruler. Alright, so this is going to be, and I've marked the pencil mark of kind of where I could have, it depends on how long you want this to be, how big you want it to be, you know. So you've got this to here, and I mean obviously it needs to be a decent distance from there. And I mean you can eyeball it yourself. I know this is upside down, so don't, yeah. You can eyeball it yourself though. So you just might like it there. So if I measured that, from the line, I just happen to have my ruler. So from the line to the start is 4 inches. So from the line, I'm going off page here. I'm doing exactly the same thing. I need a bigger camera. Well, if I move the camera, then you can't see what I'm doing. So that makes it a bit difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this 4 inches, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches up. So I'm leaving 5 inches down to that line, where that magical line that doesn't really exist, or 4 inches, because there is a little bit more. No, maybe 4 inches will do. Okay, so 4 inches there, and then I'm going to mark just a line up the top of the other side, and then I can measure all of that, which should be 12 inches. Yes. Okay. Just over 30 centimeters. 31 centimeters maybe. Okay. So there is a spot. So I'm going to go 31. So I'm going to roll this up on this. 31 centimeters. Which is the 12 inches. So I'm just going to measure it to there. And put a rule up and rip it off. Okay. Now this is the shiny side up. This is the matte side on this particular paper. So, first thing I'm going to do is get this in the right spot, leveled out, and glue it down. But I am going to make a decision about these pieces here. So I will come back, since I've got all that worked out, I will just come back and show you what I've decided about this particular mandala piece. Okay. So I've marked on either end, so I know exactly where to glue this on so it's perfectly straight, and I've measured it obviously with a ruler. I'm now just going to glue it on, so I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so I've made sure that that glue stick is really stuck on a whole heap of glue. Just making sure that middle bit is really well secured. Just going to make sure these sides are done properly. So instead of this being in a book where no one can see it, this art piece will actually be, you know, hanging on the wall or hanging on a window or somewhere where everyone can see it, which I think, you know, you choose your best work, your favorite. So I've pushed it down on both sides. I've flipped it over and made sure that it's really well adhered everywhere. And I would probably leave that overnight with a book on it if I was, you know, not in the mode and doing a video. So my next step here would be to find these pieces that I want to incorporate. Now remember, I do an edge, so there was, I'm not too sure, no, it wasn't that one. Just trying to figure out what edge I want on that. Incorporate it into no, it's definitely this one, I think. So in the other video, the little video, the same thing, but this time I'm actually going to break it up. I'm actually doing both sides, not the ends. So I'm just going to do both sides. I have to decide just how wide I want this, and I probably don't want this actually too wide because I do want to do some work around the on the artwork. So I'm thinking, let me see, I'll get a plastic ruler because that metal one really does reflect quite a lot. Alright, so this is just a printout on paper, on A4 paper, copy paper, yeah, which we call A4, which is probably, when it starts, 8 inches by 11.5 or something like that. For my American friends or Canadian friends who don't use centimeters, but now since I've taken the sides off, it's a little bit shorter. So all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to divide this, I think, into, I have obviously the opportunity to print out as many as I need, but my printer and I are not in the same building, of course. So I'm just going to use what I have, which is always a good idea, isn't it? To use what you have. I'm just going to, with my ruler, cut that. Now, maybe I want to break that into 3 because I only want it to be, so if it's 10, 3 and a dash, so that's 10. So I'm dividing this into 3, 6, 9, 3 and 0.4, 1, 2, 3.4. 3.4, 3.4. Okay, so that should that should be dividing it into 3 equal parts. Another line just to make sure. Alright. Then I'm just going to fold these all up. So I'm going to do the same to the other one. Okay? I'll be back. Okay, so I hope you paused it there and you went and folded all yours. So this is how I rip mine. I push the folded bit up to the metal ruler and then hope that it rips correctly. Of course, since I put the camera on, it's not going to rip correctly. That just goes without saying, doesn't it? But don't stress. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. Okay, well those ones really didn't rip as well as the first ones, but that's okay. Everything is fixable because it's paper. Alright, now, in fact, I probably will use those ripped edges to my advantage because I like uneven things. So we're going to fold everything in half now. I also, while I was off camera, did some jelly plate that I want to use in this too, to mix it up. So I'm just going to turn the camera off again and fold these all in half, ready for gluing and placement on the sides of the scroll. Okay. So gluing them on. Now you can either put the sides on now, as I'm doing, or you could leave them until you finish doing all of your work and then put them on right at the last moment. So I'm just trying to line that up on that fold that I folded. Now, these ones are very uneven, which I like. I like that. So I'm just going to work with just going up and down and gluing on these. Obviously you can rip them, you can change the size of them if you wish. If you want to bring in some more of that jelly plate or whatever you're doing, yeah, whatever you're adding in, or maybe you're not, maybe you've printed 2 pieces of the sides that you want, or maybe you've got jelly plates that you've done, jelly prints that you've done that are, you know, all very similar, and you just want to use those up. So I'm just taking that under there, a little bit overlapping, and I want to try and line it up so it goes on straight without any bubbles or anything, like so. That one actually, I'll undo that and do that again. Hold on. That's better. Okay, now I want to put that up there, or I want to put that down there. I'm not too sure. Is that the one? Oh no, that's the one that I actually want to do. Okay, that'll do it. So I'm just going to work on this. I mean, I don't think you need to watch. So pause the video and do both sides, or scroll on to the next step. Okay, so you finished the sides and you've turned in the bottom and glued it under, that same on each end. Now we have this. So now remember, this is going to be joined to here, and this is going to go under after we've covered it. It's going to go under and come. It's going to come up, and you're not going to see maybe that much. So in your design, you have to kind of be aware of just how much you've got to work with on each top and bottom, so that, you know, it will look fabulous, which of course it will anyway, but I don't do that until the last thing. So I'm going to put those away for the moment. I like working on the flat. So I got a couple of jelly plates out, and just really random, and the reason that they're random is because I'm just really going colour, and I got asked recently, I always turn off my camera, you know, and do things because I think it's faster for me to say something and then to turn off the camera, so, you know, it's just not going on and on and on while I'm gluing or cutting or something like that. But I actually was asked whether I could do my process, but which I feel I've done before, but maybe she hasn't seen many of them. So my process on without turning the camera off. So if you want to scroll through this bit, that's just fine and dandy. But at this point, I am actually just going to play with different things. And see what comes. Yeah, see how I feel about pieces that of my jelly prints that I've got out, whether or not they're the right color, which I'm thinking some of them aren't, you know. I might need to go and get a couple more. This one's, even though there's pink in here, this one's actually quite blue, pink. All right, so I'm going to put, I don't know whether I can put music on now, but I'll try and put music on now. Maybe that will work. Okay, so I've decided that I just went and got some more tissue paper jelly prints that I've done, and I'm just going to lay them all out. Some of them are very, very similar, so that might be a good thing or might not be a good thing. I'm just going to lay these all out on here, and then because there's a kind of a space, I'm just, see, I quite like this one because probably because it's the same colorings, the same blue and the same in there. So I quite like that one, but I don't feel that it probably would work on the bottom. I want to put, I mean, this particular one, I want to, before I work on top of it with another layer, I actually want to put a printed jelly plate on top and bottom. Now, whether it's a small piece or it's a big piece, I'm not too sure. See, that's not the right blue. I had this before, and I love I love that you can see through it. It's the tissue paper is translucent, so you'll be able to, you know, see through it and everything. But it's just not quite the right pace. These two are very similar. Just put that and that there. It might be too much though. I love all this grunge at the top. That's kind of cool. Maybe I might, oh yeah, maybe I might follow the actual size of the plate. Okay, because that actually has to come off there, obviously, that paint's there. I love that grunge bit though. We need to get that grunge bit in the bottom somehow. Sorry, I had too much noise going on. I had to turn the camera off, mind you. I suppose that could have been dubbed out, but I don't quite know how to do that. Anyway, I've just been playing with the papers that I had on the table before, and I remember I said I really liked that one, and I'm not too sure whether half of that could go somewhere, and I really like this one. So what I decided I'd do is I'd fold this into 4, and actually start with that. Start with that piece, because obviously I'm going to do text and script and all sorts of other pieces on it. And I was thinking this, I quite liked this plastic ruler, otherwise we get reflection. Where is my plastic ruler? This is one of my printables on Etsy. I don't know which one it is, one or two, but there you go. But I quite like these, and I quite like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to rip that up for the colour, and take the tops and bottoms off. And the same, I'm going to do that to yep. Okay, so as I was saying, I'm just going to, I folded this into 4, and all I'm going to do is actually rip it up and probably water cut the edges. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so I've done that. I'm just having a look before I start sticking everything down at one of my flip books with my ink work in it and different papers. Everybody knows about my flip books. They're just great go-tos, you know, when you're designing something. Getting the colours, getting, you know, the papers. I quite like that colouring in there too, but maybe I like that one better. And they're just examples that you can actually put onto the work, and see whether the paper's the right colour or it's what you're looking, you know, like because there's so many different kinds of scripts and things that I have, and in different colours and different sizes and all of that. So it's always good to have a great selection that you can just have a bit of a play with. So that's where my flip books come in, especially when I'm working with something that's so big. Okay, so I can't get all of it on screen, so it's very difficult. That's why I was working on the smaller ones. I could, I suppose, if I put it up high, but then you really wouldn't see very well. So I've just put a few bits and pieces out of different kinds of script that I might use on this, and I'll probably just have a bit of a think about that and put the ones that don't really talk to me back. I quite like this print up here. That's one of my printables, you know, script ones, but I really like that. And I don't mind that one either, but it depends on whether I can utilize them. Might just cut those 3 pieces up, actually have a bit of a play. I can change sizes and so forth. I just really like the color, matches perfectly with the mandala I did. I would like to say, I know that I've just released the mandala workshop, the mandala page, but I've actually did the mandala page probably 3 months ago. It just takes me a long time to actually edit and do all those things, you know. So as you can see, there's this beautiful tan sort of color in here. I mean, I might do my own work too on here, so quite like that. Oh, and of course the boys out the back, I've decided at this point that they're going to use a drill and so forth, so just bear with me on that one. So I quite like the idea, and I know that you probably can't see it, but I will show. I'll slide it down. I'm kind of moving on there like that somehow. Let's see the top piece. I'm thinking I'm going to use that actually on the bar. I know that that goes under, but I need to have a piece there anyway that goes over that. So I quite like that, and I quite like this and that bit of blue. I haven't quite decided how much I like this Chinese script, and I like the other one. I like this one here too, so I might put those ones away back in my flip book for another day. Like so, they just slide in. It's just so fabulous. Now these tiny ones, I'm not too sure that I'm not going to use those. I quite like the different sizing of them. And okay, so I've kind of got similar up the top as is the bottom, so that equal kind of thing. I've put one of the printables, so this is just the first layer, of course, and I really like, I've cut off one of those two, that was too long, so I'll just put that away in my, put the little tiny ones away in here. There's this tiny little pocket I made for them. In fact, there's a piece in there that I might use because it's the same. Put that in there. Okay. Quite like that. I don't know whether the blue bars, and I don't know whether you can see that. Because I can't quite get all of that on the camera, can I? Alright, so I have had, unfortunately, I couldn't record because there was just a lot of noise going on outside, so I've had to just keep on going, and I can show you what I've done. So it was pretty much where I was. So I've added another bit from my printables down there, and this is a piece of jelly print, the blue that I want to incorporate into this piece, matching the blue that's in the actual mandala. I've cut up a couple of different blues pieces and made them a bit thinner. I felt that they were too thick, what I wanted to do in the first place. The color was right, but the thickness was wrong. I'm just going to add these to the side. Like so. Using my eye really, and good old sock. Press them down. I was going to put a long one, but I thought no, it needs to be again a different size. It's very important that you have different size things when you're creating, different shapes with different thicknesses and different sizes. So I'm going to put this block of blue on either end, and then I'm going to do the same ends. So after I do this, I'll be back and I'll just do the other end off camera, and then I'll come back. So I've put both ends on, and I've got 3 pieces from one of my printables that I had before out. So at this point I've changed a little bit. I've made it very uniform, and I will show you how that is. So there's the beautiful mandala in the middle, and then it goes up to those. I have different strips on the top and the bottom. You could use the same. I kind of wanted it to be a bit different. Remembering though that this is actually going to be turning around on the other. This is actually going to be on the other side if I go ahead with putting it on this scroll. I was thinking about this during the night, and it's the next day today, and I'm not sure that I want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure that I want to actually use this scroll like that, you know, like that. What I might do is actually put it, create it, cover it, create it, and attach it that way down the bottom, so that it actually, we don't lose this beautiful work here. So time, because as I said, this is the first time I've used these big scrolls. So obviously we're going to do scripting of some description, or I'm going to do scripting, but I am also going to do frottage on it and rubbings. Yeah, and I found these beautiful leaves in the garden, and I'm going to do those on here. So that is my next. I think I'm going to do these, and then I'm going to add these pieces over the top. Maybe, no, actually no, I'm not. I'm going to glue those on first. I think I'm going to, yeah, I might just try this one. I'll glue this one on here first, and then with this gorgeous, very lovely glue that I use, which I love. Oops. Forgot to get a piece of paper as usual. I always forget that. I do have a piece around, but just because I'm just doing this one, so I think I want it in the middle there, like so. I've been jelly printing this morning, so that just happens to be out. So that's there, and I'm going to do some leaf rubbings, frottage on the top of that area, and just see whether I want them all of the areas to be the same, or because I have three of these little pieces of paper from my printables. I'm putting 2 sort of up, putting that one there. I haven't decided whether that's too long, and this one somewhere over this way, but I'm not too sure where quite yet, but I think it's going to be there, and this might be shortened a little bit because it's just a tad long shape wise, you know. And I also might get the ink out and just do the edges on those, because the white paper is actually showing up, so I might run around with a bit of ink on those ones, maybe. They're not too bad, but sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Okay, so we're just going to do some frottage on here of these beautiful little leaves. And I'll show you one, and then I'll turn off the camera because obviously you don't want to watch me doing that completely all the time. Now I've chosen this really light colour, and I don't know whether that's going to work or not. And this is the time consuming part, the frottage. That is for sure. I'm not too sure. So this colour that I'm using is the same as sort of a fleshy tone. And but I might also do some white and just see how the white turns out, or maybe some red. So I'm just going to do this, and I will be back. I'll be back. So using different kinds of sizes, and you can only use these for a certain amount of time too, because the veins of the leaves actually squash down as you're doing it with the fresh leaves. And so I've done that. I love this. This is great. I am going to do, I like the over the top, like I did last time. Now you might have, I don't know whether you watched me making this, but there was this lovely washi tape that I used, that I have, and I'm sure I put the information on there. I think I'm going to actually add a piece of this down the bottom here, because it's just gorgeous, just to join it together. So maybe along, you know, not so long, not so big a piece, but just so that it joins the bottom to the top. Thinking maybe three of those there, like that. And then I'm going to have to cut that bit off, because I'll put that somewhere, because I just need those 1, 2, 3. I might put that in, I'll put that little piece in the box actually, maybe that's where I'll put it. If you're interested in that, yeah, I'm sure that all the details are on my other video on the mandala. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. Now, I think they're, like so, and I'll do the same down the other end. And glue down the other end. So I'm going to do the next piece down the other end. Then we're going to come back and we're going to do some ink work. Then we're going to do the scroll pieces, covering them and working out how to hang them from here. So I'll turn off the camera and just frottage the top, glue down my other pieces that I have, and then when I come back that will be done, and we'll work on making the actual scrolls. Okay, so we are at the point of, I've just finished putting some more gold. I've used gold to do this frottage rubbing. I don't know which word is better, but anyway, it's all French, isn't it? Collage, frottage. I've used a gold wax crayon that I had, oil pastel type thing, and oil, and that worked really quite well, except I know it will smudge. And the other thing, so I do need to seal like I did in the other video. The other thing is I have these lovely little ones that I had out, if you remember, that I have coffee stained and printed off, and I was wondering whether I would put those on. So I'm just going to have a look to see whether or not I want to put those on. Before I seal it. My ink work will be after I seal it. This is very similar, but I do like the fact that it's just different writing. And also, because remember, I'm actually changed this a little bit.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so yes, I did stick those on. I actually stuck just two, one in the middle, and I know that's and two down the ends, those pieces at the end, because we are going to extend those out now. Now these could also be just a plain colour if you didn't want to use the printables. Obviously they could just be, you know, black or something, which would kind of look cool too. Alright, so I was thinking I should measure this now it's like finished, because I gave you a measurement right at the very beginning, and I'm hoping that I am okay. No, that's great. So the 40 inches or 100 centimeters is, so that is perfect. So that 100 is great. Okay, so now I am just going to I'm finished except the ink work, and I'm putting the ends on. All right, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use the gold, because there's actually quite a lot of gold on here. So I have my jelly plate out, which has got blue on it, so some of that comes off. That will be fine. Just break that up while I'm trying to remember where I put my coffee stain gesso. Alright, so I have found my coffee stained coloured, it's actually not coffee, it's just a dye that I've sprayed in there, and it just makes it the, you know, the tiniest bit coffee stain. It's not huge, so we're just going to put a layer of that on. Turn this over, ready to go, and we only just need to mainly do the bits that have the frottage rubbings on them. So just make sure that's got that on there. had a bit much on the first time. Not that it matters, it'll just dry up. And then not fit. So onto the white end of the mandala. Fantastic. Okay, there she is. Done.